Hey, what is up, sports bettors? Matt here with OddsJam, and I have two player props for you guys to lock in for NFL Sunday. Two bets that I found using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page. I think they are both really good bets. So let's chat about them. Two bets that I have locked in already. The first one we're looking at is George Pickens to go under his longest reception of 18.5. So George Pickens, longest reception under 18.5. I know the risk of this one. He's a big play receiver with Kenny Pickett. He might possibly get, a little more work than he had gotten with Mitchell Trubisky. But the Steelers are playing the Bills, who have a top 3 defense in the entire NFL. After giving up 20 points in the first half to the Ravens, they gave up 0 points in the second half. That is even with them being banged up in the secondary. They're just such a good, well-coached unit. So I understand why this is a positive expected value play. But that last part is the most important part. It's a positive expected value play. So the bet is on Caesars at plus 110. Locked this one in already, as you can see here. George Pickens, longest reception under 18.5, plus 110 odds on Caesars. I just locked this one in. And I think it's really good for math reasons as well. Number one, look at the gap between the no vig odds and the odds that Caesars has it priced. Plus 101, plus 102 if you want to round up, versus plus 110. And the no vig odds, that part is very, very important. Positive expected value betting, the way it works, the whole concept behind positive EV, not every book is perfect at pricing odds. Some books do it better than others, right? It's the same thing if you're viewing a stock. If there are two companies, one company does a really good job of evaluating a stock, one company does a really bad job, and we have the history, we have the data to back up that claim to know who's good and who's not. You're going to want to trust the one that's good at pricing stock. It's the same thing with sports betting. You're going to want to trust the sports books that are the best at pricing odds. And that's exactly what OddsJam does for you. It does the work for you. It took a bunch of just thousands and thousands of data being collected by OddsJam to make that determination, to learn, okay, what sports books are the best? And it's not just blanket for all sports and all markets. Some sports books are better at pricing certain sports. Let's pretend DraftKings is really good at player props. BetRivers is really good at baseball. FanDuel is really good at pricing totals, whatever. Those aren't true. I'm just providing examples. OddsJam took all of that data and is weighting it differently depending on the sports book and depending on the sport and depending on the market. So that's where these no vig odds are calculated from. Tracking all of these books, determining which of them are the sharpest, and then removing the vig to get the true line of what they're priced at, which is exactly what's done here at plus 101, plus 102, whatever. So the gap between plus 101 and the plus 110 on Caesars is where you get your positive expected value from. That is calculated in this percent right here. So the bigger the gap between these two numbers, the higher this percent is going to be. This can be viewed as your theoretical profit margin, how much money you figure to make in terms of profit on this play. So I bet $50 on it. My profit is $2.06. Now, obviously, the bet will either win and I will get all my profit of $55, or my bet will lose and I will lose all of my risk of $50. But the important thing to understand is that this is your theoretical profit margin over time. So you would notice that as you are continually placing positive expected value bets, your theoretical profit margin percent here will start to equal your actual profit margin over time. 250, 500, 1,000 bets, something like that. So that's what's important to understand about this percent. But yeah, this is a good play. Another thing that I like to look at when debating whether I should take a play or not, just open this up in a new tab and it shows you where every book is pricing a play at. So the plus 110 we see on Caesars, every other book is pretty much telling you this is even money. This is a 50-50 bet at best by how they're pricing it. DraftKings, minus 115 each way. So if you remove the vig, 50-50. Pinnacle, minus 116 towards the over, minus 114 towards the under. A little bit, slightly favoring the over in this case. Pretty much basically telling you it's 50-50. Caesars is giving you 10 cents above that at plus 110. That's a pretty good bet. So for those of you at home who are unit sizing, trying to understand how much you should put on this play, you should put half of a unit. Whatever that is for you, half of a unit. For me, that is $50. So that's the first play. George Pickens, longest reception under 18.5. The next one that I locked in was this Dalvin Cook rushing attempts over 17.5. So it's another positive expected value play. No big line, pricing this at -115. And we got it at Tipico at -115. Now, for those of you who have been following me along this YouTube channel know that Tipico limits me to $10, to $5, $10, $10. This one, I wanted to put 100. I wanted to put a full unit on this one. Tipico only let me get $10. But for those of you at home, if you have Tipico, this is worthy of a full unit play, a 1% of your bankroll play. Dalvin Cook over 17.5 carries. Same logic here in terms of looking at all the other markets. Every other book has it priced pretty significantly higher than the Tipico line at 17.5, including Bet Online, which is one of the sharpest sports books in the world. Not as good as Pinnacle. They're not quite as good as Pinnacle, but they're pretty good. Have it at -135. DraftKings does a decent job specifically with player props because they're a daily fantasy sports company as well. Price it at -140. Pretty big difference between what Tipico's giving you at -115. Another reason why I like this one, and this is an app that you can download for completely free, any iOS store, any Mac, iPad, iPhone, whatever, you can download it. Look at Cook's rushing attempts on the season. You really want to look at the most recent season. Like if you look at his career, 20 of 31 times, he's gone over 17.5. But if you want to look at this season alone, the last 5, so I know you think, oh, he's only hit it in 2 of 4 games. That's not that great. This game where he hit 17, he missed the entire second half, basically the entire second half. He missed all of the fourth quarter and about half of the third quarter, and he still ended at 17. If he plays one more snap, he probably gets this to 18 and he hits this over. So important consideration to note with this one that he missed. So theoretically, for all intents and purposes, he's hit this in 3 of the 4 games. The Bears, not a good team. The Vikings are huge favorites over the Bears, so they're probably going to run a ton. So I think this is a really good bet. So for those of you at home, again, worth putting a unit on this one. But that's it. So my 2 bets, Dalvin Cook over 17.5 rushing attempts, George Pickens, longest reception under 18.5, and that's it. So appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.